Hi, beautiful soul. This is Hanneke from Twin Soul Alchemy. Welcome to this channel on blossoming on the twin flame journey. In this video, I'm going to talk about the full moon in Gemini energy for twin flames and divine counterparts. As usual, I'm going into the energy of the full moon and the major astrological events and the impact that can be felt on your spiritual journey, but of course, most of all, on your twin flame journey. And this full moon in Gemini is occurring on December 15th at 24 degrees of Gemini. And this full moon illuminates key aspects of our lives, particularly how we think, communicate, and make choices. It's a time for clarity, where unresolved questions or lingering thoughts can finally come to light. And you may find yourself ready to voice your truth, to make decisions, or to bring closure to situations that have been weighing on your mind. I don't know how you are experiencing this energy, but I am loving this. To me, it feels like we can breathe again, and there's an energy that is a little bit more fast-paced than before. Gemini's influence brings a lively, dynamic energy to this full moon. And Gemini is known for its curiosity, its adaptability, and the need for connection, and thrives on gathering information and sharing ideas and engaging in conversation. So if you're eager to share something, please comment. This energy invites us to explore how our thoughts and communication shape the way that we navigate the world. Are we expressing ourselves authentically? Are we listening to others with openness and understanding? The Gemini full moon creates a space for us to evaluate these questions and refine the way that we connect. And opposite this energy is the sun, still in Sagittarius, and this is urging us to look beyond the immediate details and to consider the broader picture. In one of my recent videos on the December energies, I explored the influence of Sagittarius in depth for this month. Sagittarius is often called the seeker of the zodiac and inspires us to expand our inner and outer horizons. However, the energy this December has encouraged a more internal journey of discovery with a lot of planets going retrograde. And instead of searching externally for answers or validation, Sagittarius really invited us to reflect inwardly, to reassess our beliefs and embrace the stillness of simply being. And if you're interested in diving deeper into this perspective, I encourage you to check out that video that I made in the beginning of December for more insights, if you haven't already seen it. So while Gemini focuses on the moment-to-moment exchange of ideas, Sagittarius seeks the meaning and higher truth. And together, these energies form a polarity that asks us to balance our short-term focus with our long-term vision. How do the small everyday decisions make you align with your greater goals and beliefs? Are you stuck overanalyzing the details, or are you skipping over the finer points in pursuit of a bigger dream? The full moon encourages us to find harmony between these two perspectives. There are several aspects in the natural polarity between these two signs, and one of these is details versus the bigger picture. So Gemini focuses on collecting and finding and analyzing information and dealing with the immediate everyday details of life. And it thrives on curiosity and asking questions and exploring multiple perspectives. And Sagittarius, on the other hand, seeks the overarching truths, the meaning, the long-term vision, and it looks beyond the immediate to find the deeper purpose and connection to a higher understanding. And so the tension emerges when we are pulled between focusing on the smaller, tangible aspects and striving for the bigger, more idealistic picture. And the full moon asks us, how do these details support or conflict with our long-term goals? Another aspect is logic versus intuition. Gemini relies on logic and facts and rational thinking, and often bounces between ideas and possibilities without committing to one. And Sagittarius trusts intuition and faith and philosophical insight and seeking the wisdom that ties everything together. And during the full moon, this polarity can feel like a push-pull between trying to figure it out logically and letting go of overthinking to trust a broader, more intuitive path. And a third aspect is the tension between seeking knowledge versus seeking wisdom. Gemini gathers knowledge for knowledge's sake. It loves learning and sharing and just for the joy of exploration. And Sagittarius seeks wisdom and focuses on how knowledge can serve a higher purpose or how it can align with our spiritual and philosophical beliefs. So it's really important to be aware, to ask yourself if you're stuck in a cycle of endless questioning instead of applying what you've learned and to grow and evolve. And a fourth aspect is the tension between duality versus unity. Gemini thrives in duality and in recognizing and juggling multiple viewpoints without necessarily choosing one. And Sagittarius leans towards unity and aims to find a single truth or belief system that resonates deeply. So this contrast can lead to indecision or dogmatism. So there is this invitation to embrace complexity while staying aligned with what feels authentic and meaningful for us. And a fifth aspect is the tension between social connectivity versus solitary exploration. Gemini enjoys sharing ideas, having conversations, connecting with others through communication. And Sagittarius is more introspective and values the inner journey of discovery as much as the outward exploration. And finding balance between these two means understanding when to listen and collaborate and when to step back and reflect. And so this full moon is asking us to bridge the gap between these two energies and encourages us to find a middle ground, using Gemini's adaptable, curious mind to support Sagittarius' quest for truth and higher meaning. A really good example of this energy is what I found in a video of Natural Mystic this morning. I don't know if you know her. She has her own channel on Twin Flames. I really like her content a lot. And this morning she posted a video where she talks about how she constructed a theory that helps identify twin flames through their birth charts. My very first reaction was, of course, the twin flame connection is something that we deeply know within ourselves. You know, it's our intuition tells us what we are, that we are the twin flame, and our intuition tells us what we experienced. But I was still curious, you know, the Gemini energy. And I'm also naturally curious. So I checked out the video and I also took a look at both of our natal charts. And I can tell you that for me, this adds up. Her theory. So you should really, if you're interested, you should really check out her video. But what she talks about is how you can identify a false twin flame or a catalyst by looking at Black Moon Lilith in your own natal chart. And actually, when I took a look at that, I was kind of baffled by the results of that. Since my spiritual awakening, there have been multiple connections that have come into my life and then disappeared again. Romantic, but mostly friendships. And all of these connections that came in fast and where I had a lot of synchronicities, and I felt that these were all deep soul connections and they disappeared again. Those were all on that axis, that Black Moon Lilith axis. And she talks about how you can identify your twin flame, because your twin flame will have as a sun sign the sign where your Jupiter is located in your natal chart. And I have to say that I was really surprised to see that in my case, that's really how it is. And I talked about it with my friend, my soulmate, who is on this journey with me together. I'm really grateful for all his support, because we're going through the same things a lot of the time and we can support each other. I really believe that that's why he came into my life. But anyway, it's the same for him and his deep soul connection. It's the same correlation with the Jupiter sign. It's funny, it's now 11 minutes, 11 seconds on my timer as I'm recording this. The theory of natural mystic is a lot more complex than what I'm talking about just here now. And if you're interested in that, you should really check out her video. But I'm just using this example of how the Gemini energy can pull us into analysis and dissecting and exploring ideas, while the Sagittarius energy urges to find the broader meaning and the wisdom behind them. So of course we can enjoy the mental exploration, but ultimately we know this in our heart. We know what we experience. It's Twin Flame Journey teaches us to rely on the wisdom of our heart, and of course not trust external metrics or an external system. So what I really think is important if you decide to explore this is that you balance exploration with surrender. It's nice to see something confirmed in the natal chart or anything else, that feels really nice. But what really counts is that we can allow ourselves to trust our intuition and our heart without attaching to any outcomes. Yes, we've had beautiful experiences, but we don't know what the future is going to bring us. And that is fine. We can co-create with the universe, but it's still a co-creation where we might dream and we might have intentions and we allow things to unfold and we take inspired action, but we don't really know what is going to happen. And so even if this system confirms what you feel on the inside, stay focused on yourself and your own energy and co-create with the universe and expect miracles without attachment, because you are already complete. Anyway, that's just an example of this tension between the logic and the deeper seeking. But there is a lot more happening, astrologically speaking, because on the same day as a full moon, Mercury, which is a planet of communication, thought, processes, and travel, shifts from its retrograde phase to direct motion at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. And as Mercury is a ruling planet of Gemini, this is a particularly significant event that intensifies the energy of this full moon. And when Mercury stations direct, the themes of reflection and reassessment and introspection that were emphasized during this retrograde period begin to resolve and open the door for forward movement in key areas of life. So this Mercury retrograde began on November 25th, and it asked us to pause and consider the beliefs and the narratives and the plans that we hold, particularly in the Sagittarius-themed areas like higher learning and travel and personal philosophy. And during this time, you may have noticed delays in communication and misunderstandings, or some sort of mental fog that made decision-making feel more difficult. But as Mercury will shift direct, that fog begins to lift, and that will provide a sense of clarity and resolution. And this transition at 6 degrees of Sagittarius aligns with the Sagittarius's expansive and truth-seeking nature, and it encourages us to take what we've learned during the retrograde and to integrate it into a clearer vision for the future. and projects or conversations that felt stalled or unclear, they may gain momentum now as Mercury is going forward again. And this is coming right after the 12-12 portal, which represented a culmination of lessons learned and a transition into embodying those lessons. And the key takeaway that I mentioned in my 12-12 portal video is that union is not a destination but a foundation. And this perspective challenges us to move beyond the idea that union is an endpoint to be achieved. Instead, it's a state of being that allows us to co-create from a place of inner wholeness and balance. By balancing the divine feminine and divine masculine energies within ourselves, we create this solid foundation from which authentic action, creativity, and connection can naturally emerge. And in the second part of my video on the 12-12 portal, I touched upon the themes where I feel we are heading after these completion of lessons. The focus is shifting from healing to creation. And as we integrate the lessons of the last couple of months, we begin stepping into a new phase where our inner work translates into outward expression. If you haven't seen this video yet and you want to know more about where we are going in the next couple of months, I would highly recommend you watching the video of the 12-12 portal. There is also a T-square involved where there is a tension between the Sun in Sagittarius and the Moon in Gemini, which are in opposition, while both are squared by a third planet, Neptune in Pisces. So this is forming a tense triangular relationship, a dynamic of tension and pressure that demands resolution. It's like a challenge that forces us to find balance and grow through the friction that it generates. The energy of a T-square can feel intense as it highlights areas of conflict or imbalance, and it pushes us to take action and to find innovative solutions. So adding to this opposition, this polarity between logic and intuition and details and big picture thinking, Neptune in Pisces squares both the Sun and the Moon and acts as the focal point that amplifies themes of confusion, idealism, and the blending of reality and illusion. Neptune's influence in Pisces brings a dreamy, spiritual quality to the mix. And while it can inspire creativity and compassion and spiritual insight, it can also create confusion, overwhelm, and escapism. So Neptune is actually blurring the lines between what is real and what is imagined. And this can leave us questioning our perceptions and doubting our choices, and also feeling lost in the fog of uncertainty. So this T-square calls for grounding and discernment, rather than getting caught in overthinking or over-idealistic beliefs. It's important to connect with your intuition and your spiritual practices. It's a very good time for meditation and journaling and a creative expression, and that will help you tap into Neptune's higher wisdom without succumbing to its illusions. And by leaning into these practices, you can find clarity and alignment in the chaos. So if you feel caught up in this analytical energy of the Gemini full moon, if you're overthinking, over-questioning, doubting everything, if you feel like the energy is pulling you into your mind and is urging you to figure out everything logically while sidelighting the deeper wisdom of your heart, then know that you're not alone at all. I actually had one of my clients reach out to me yesterday, and they shared with me that they reached a deeper, more peaceful level in their journey, but now a lot of doubts and worries are coming up again, even to the point where they feel like they're living in some sort of parallel reality. So know that if questions are coming up about, is this connection real? Can I trust this? Am I safe? Am I going crazy? Know that these that you're not the only one. These are normal doubts and thoughts along the journey, and they're being especially triggered right now. But know that it is most likely fear that is taking over your mind, influencing your thoughts, and blocking the expanded consciousness that you have grown the last couple of years. In our spiritual journey, we are constantly expanding our consciousness and we gain access to more and more wisdom. But when fear is taking over, this new gained consciousness is being blocked, and it can feel like everything that you've experienced was some kind of dream. It doesn't feel real anymore, and even though that you still have the memories of the experiences, you wonder, it's possible that you start to wonder, what was that? Where was I? And if this is accompanied by a bad feeling, by fear, then just know that this is the fear that is blocking your consciousness. And the way that you can deal with that will be my advice always. If you're in doubt and there are thoughts racing through your mind, please take some time to be with yourself. Close yourself off from everything external, from the outside. Be with yourself, sit with yourself for as long as it is needed, and go into deep relaxation if possible. Do practices that make you feel relaxed and be present with what is going on within your energy field. Connect with your heart and distinguish the higher self and the lower self. So what I mean is, you are not your thoughts and emotions. And so if you go within and connect with your heart, then you'll be able to observe your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. And it is from that state that you can allow them to pass and surrender them, let them go. And the more that you do this process, the more that you can clear your energy field, and the more that you can distinguish the thoughts that are coming from fear from what is actually your true inner wisdom and what is actually in your own heart. And the state that you will want to get into is in a deep, deep connection with self, and in a state of feeling whole and complete, where you feel safe within your own body and your own energy system. And it is from there that you will feel that you can trust yourself and that you are safe in this world, because it is coming from the inside and it's not something external that you need to be safe in this world. I just want to emphasize here that this is a process, and it sounds really simple for me to say those things, but it is my experience that it wasn't that easy at all to get to that place where you feel whole and complete in yourself, and where you feel safe and secure in the world, and that you know that you can trust yourself and that you can surrender everything to your higher self and trust that whatever is good for you will unfold, and that you will know what to do when there's an opportunity. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, it's not a decision that you make from your mind and then suddenly this happens. It's my experience that this is a whole process of purging and purging and purging, where you have to be really patient with yourself, and you need a lot of compassion from yourself and also from others. That really helps. It always helps when someone is an example of what you cannot find within yourself yet. So if you can find that, if you can find the right person to support you with that, then that's really helpful in this process. This is a good time, I think, for me to mention that, of course, I guide people in this process. So if you feel that you resonate with me and you feel that you can use this support, please contact me through my website, twinsoulalchemy.com. I really want to emphasize that when I do a private coaching session, this is not about giving you validation on your connection. What I do is, depending, of course, where you are in your journey, we go into the themes that are coming up and that might be blocking you for the moment, or that might make you feel that you are stuck or that are hurting you. It's about the deeper work. It's not about a quick fix. And I really think that it's important to mention that. So if you're up for that, if you want a deep dive, please contact me. I'm there for you, because I know that it can be challenging and that it can feel like you're going crazy. But there are really other periods as well where you suddenly see the light again. And I'm sure a lot of you know this. Suddenly everything starts moving again and you feel like a lighter being. So if you feel that this is a challenging period for you, know that it is ultimately leading you towards deeper alignment with your soul. And by learning to trust yourself and to cultivate inner safety, you can release the need for external validation and you can surrender to the flow of life. And at this point, I think it's important to mention that surrendering to the flow of life for me doesn't mean that you don't do anything anymore, you don't take responsibility for your life. No, it's the opposite. You take full responsibility for yourself and your life, and you will feel it when you need to take action. But the more that we can connect with that deeper part of ourselves and with our soul and find this inner safety, we naturally shift out of the analytical overdrive. We can let that sometimes incessant voice be and stay into a state of clarity and connected with our intuition and take heart-centered action. So this is just an opportunity to create space for stillness and self-connection. And from there, to move forward with confidence, knowing that the answers that you seek are actually within yourself. And so there is the invitation to let the Gemini energy be a reminder to balance the brilliance of the mind, because it's not all bad, the mind. we just don't have to allow the shadow parts of our ego to take over our minds, but our minds can be brilliant and curious, and we can do a lot of great things with our minds. But so this is the reminder to balance the brilliance of our mind with the wisdom of our hearts. What comes to me right now is also that's a balance between taking decisions and allowing to letting things to happen. There's other energies at play for the moment as well. I don't have the time to go into all of it. I've talked about Mars being in retrograde in Leo in my December energies video. So if you're curious about that, about introspection around personal power and creativity and self-expression, please listen to my December energies video. And the same is with Venus conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So I've come nearly to the end of my video, and I would like to say something. Those of you who are familiar with my channel and are familiar with my other videos have probably realized that in this video I'm not talking about the masculine and feminine energies separately. And this is actually not on purpose. To me, it feels like part of where we are right now. I feel a balance of these two within my energy field myself, and I don't feel the need to discuss them separately. That's not the perspective that I am picking up right now. It doesn't mean that I won't be doing that in the future. It's just for this specific video, that's just the way it is in this moment. It truly correlates with what I talked about in my 12/12 portal video, that union is a foundation, not a destination. And it is from the foundation of union that we start to co-create with the universe. So that being said, if you're interested in guidance, in a guided meditation that will lead you towards a state of neutrality where your energies are balanced, then I can recommend you the mirror meditation. I will link it here in shop. And if you're interested in aligning to your soul's purpose, I recommend you that meditation. And for now, I will leave you, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful full moon in Gemini. Take care. Bye.